support vector machine. Okay, so if you want to do a classification, then there are different options are available. For example, we can go with the linear regression, or we can go with the logistic regression, and so on. But if I want to do a proper classification, then there are two approaches. One approach is if I have a proper set of features, and if I don't have proper set of features, so how to do a management between these two options, that is a one big challenge. Okay, second thing is that what about the features are not giving you proper linear mechanism. What we call as linear mechanism, suppose I have some values and those values are linearly rising, then I can have a proper prediction. But what if there is no any a linearity between the features, then how to do a classification? So these are the few issues. Hence, in order to do a proper classification between the different objects, we have another method which is nothing but support vector machine. Okay, so now what we are discussing right now is nothing but support vector machine. So we are going to start with that. Are you able to see the presentation screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So so if we go with the kernel methods, there are two approaches to have a classification with respect to kernel methods. And one of the method is the support vector machine, and second is the relevance vector machine. The thing right now we are going to discuss is the support vector machine. Okay, so if I go with the support vector machine, what we call as a kernel method, kernel is nothing but out of the complete scope, we are giving him a hint that if the features are lies between this so and so pattern, then it belongs to xyz class. If these features are belongs to so and so pattern, this belongs to abc class. So we are making him to good to predict the particular classes. Hence the kernel methods are very important in those approaches. Right now, here, if you want to do a kernel classification or kernel method classification, how to do that? There is one option to have a clusterization. So what we call as a clusterization, if I have a different type of the classes, then I can club them together. For example, looking like a red color will be one cluster, looking like a yellow color will be second cluster, looking like a white color will be third cluster, and so on. Next is ranking. Okay, then a principal component. So what we call as a principal component, we have discussed that in our in semester examination. Okay, so out of the complete scope of available features, if the features are repeating multiple times, so instead of going with the a different kind of features to classify the object, we are looking only on the principal components, which are the key highlighting components from that complete data set. That is a principal component. Then correlation method and so on. So these are the generalized patterns. So out of those, we are looking for the a particular one which is a kernel based system, where the margin between the two classes will be identified. What we call as a margin, if I set a third certain threshold, xyz value above threshold will be belongs to one class, xyz value below certain threshold will be belongs to second class. So these are the options which we are going to deliver under the kernel based system with respect to margin system. Okay, now second, if I go with the kernel methods, svm is one of the most important method. Now if we go with the svm, why it is essential to learn the support vector machine? First and most important, it's a classification required system. So if I want to classify the different objects or different methods, then I can go with the support vector. Okay, second thing is that it's a flexible to represent. So if I have different features, then I can map them to classify them in the different options. Okay, then to separate the two classes, what are the options? Yes, we have the different options. Now, one of the most important options nothing but use of the hyperplane. Okay, so what we call as a hyperplane here, the option as shown as the possible hyperplanes that could be chosen. So what we call as a hyperplane? Hyperplane is nothing but it's a virtually aligned separation between the two or three different classes with respect to available features. So with respect to available features. So everyone, I'm requesting you, please turn off your audio. Okay, now our objective is to find the maximize margin to have a separation between two classes. Yes, we are doing that part. And now how to do that? Here is a simple example. On left side there is one example where two different classes are shown. One is the orange, second is the apple. So if I want to classify these two objects, how I can do the classification? So here on right side, if you check carefully, there is a margin and the support vector. So what we call a support vector? Support vector is nothing but from that margin line, which point near to that lies on that hyperplane will be considered as a support vector. So on left side, on near to red color object, there is a one point. On right side, near to green color object, there is a one point. So for this class, for first class, this point is the nearest to this support vector, a margin. For this class, this is the nearby point which is required to near to the margin. Hence, if I align these two points together, then these we are calling as a support vector. Okay, these we are calling as a support vector. Now why SVM is special? Yes, it is special because it is giving me an idea about the actual mapping with respect to the hyperplanes. So hyperplane is nothing but it's a virtual concept which is virtually separating the two or different objects or two or different classes, and that separation is completely belongs to based on the available set of features. Okay, hence SVMs are very special. Most of the classification techniques are using the support vector mechanism. Okay, now problem, how to classify them? Now yes, we are using the SVM, but to apply the SVM, it is important to know about the support vector. So which line will be a most prominent line, which line will be most prominent line? So that is not yet we have any idea. So how to do that? To do that plotting, we are using the vectors. And how to draw those vectors? We have different options to draw the vectors. One of the most prominent solution is that first go with the margins, draw a line on that particular point perpendicular to each other, and which will be giving me a separation of the two different classes. Okay, and now any point which is nothing but left line falls into the black circle and on right side falls to the square class. So these a single line which is available in the green color is completely separating the two classes with respect to available feature. Suppose this is the first feature, this is the second feature. Assume that this is the height, this is the width, and this is the height. So if I have a specific x value of height and y value of w, then this will be a first point. If I have particular x value of height and y value of w, this will be a second point, and so on. So according to features, plus plot all these points together and find the particular hyperplane line which will be giving me an idea about the a separation between the two classes. This is nothing but a support vector machine. Okay, now a regularization. So in order to implement such a support vector machine, this is not only a single solution. Along with the SVM, we have to go with the different parameters. So what are those parameters? The first parameter is nothing but regularization parameter. So what is regularization parameter? The regularization parameter is declared or defined with respect to the C. C is nothing but regularization parameter. So why it is required? It tells the SVM how to optimize the a particular data sets to classify the particular systems. Okay, so how to use this C? There are two approaches: a very small value of C or very large value of C. So if we go with the change in the C parameter, how it affects the complete system? Here, if the value of C is very small, what will happen? This will cause an optimizer to look like a completely flattened line. Okay, it will give me a completely flat line. So due to this of due to this issue, what will have an impact? Take an example over here itself. So if I have a small value of C, the line will be between this particular parameter. Hence there is chance might be this such a blue point will be available over here, might be available over here. Hence there is a probability of having misclassification with respect to small value of C. Okay, if I go with the large value of C, this is a large value of C, this is small value of C. So if I go with the large value of C, what will happen? Due to large value of C, there is a chance to have the overfitting of the system. So what we call as overfitting, it is giving me an accurate classification of the points, but I give another classification input, then might be it will not give a proper output to the input, a particular input. Hence we are giving him an extra parameters. Hence it is giving me an overfitting system. So lower value of C is not a proper solution, higher value of C is also not a proper solution. So you have to find that in between to tune the data. Okay, so here same option is given. If the value of C is the lower, yes, if you look carefully, this point is misclassified, this point is misclassified, because due to a low value of regularization parameter, a straight line has been drawn over here. Okay, but due to this chance to have a misclassification. But if I go with the high regularization pattern, just see over here, a typical and identical one-to-one line has been giving me a proper separation between the two classes. But to the same train system, if I give another new input, might be it will not give me a correct result, because this particular model is trained to only these respective parameters, which is nothing but overfitting. Hence if I give new parameter, definitely it will give me a wrong result. Hence this method is not particular, this method is also not a particular requirement. So we have to find the proper parameterization, which is an optimized parameterization. Okay, now next parameter is the gamma. What we first understood, a regularization. Regularization is nothing but a C parameter. Now we are discussing about the gamma parameter. So what is gamma parameter? Gamma parameter is nothing but which is required over here to classify the particular data with what kind of a linearization method. Okay, so what kind of linear mechanism you are applying to separate the data? So there are different options. One is the regularization in linear plane, regularization in the logistic plane, or regularization in the Gaussian model. So right now we are discussing about the Gaussian model. So if you want to apply the gamma, we have to go with the Gaussian model. So what do you call as Gaussian model? Gaussian model is nothing but whatever the input parameters you have from the x is equal to 1 to, let's say I have parameters up to 100. Okay, so these 100 points, if I plot together, it will give me a shape of conical flask. Yes, so it will give me a shape of this conical flask, and this shape is nothing but we are calling this as a gamma model. Okay, Gaussian model. This is nothing but a Gaussian model. So based on this Gaussian model, I am using this to plot the available data. Okay, And now, according to the parameters, how the gamma is going to influence over here, there are two approaches: when gamma is high and when gamma is low. So if gamma value is high, what will happen? If gamma value is low, what will happen? So if gamma value is high, points close to the a desired line will be give me a accurate result. But if I go with the lower gamma value, what will happen? This will be giving me a far away plausible separation, which is nothing but a wrong result. So having high gamma value is also not a suitable solution. Having low gamma value, which is nothing but very slow system, and far points will be available. So nearby points and far away points, there is a linking between these two parameters using the gamma correction. So in the support vector machine, you have to think on these two parameters. First is the regularization parameter C, and second is the gamma parameter. Okay, now margin. So what we call as a margin? So in the margin mechanism, a margin is nothing but it is a separation between the line to the closest point. So what if I want to use the particular mechanism? A good margin you have to find. And how to find the good margin? A good margin is nothing but where separation is available, images have a proper, a clear difference between the two classes based on their available set of features. And the thing is that these should be having a proper equal mechanism to have a separation between these two systems. Okay, now here what we call as a bad margin, the point is near to margin line, second point near to margin line, third point near to margin line. Hence more than 3 points are together which are near to margin, hence we are treating it under the bad margin. But what about good margin? Yes, there is only one point, this is the only one point which is closest to that margin line. This is the only one point which is closest to margin line. Hence whatever the margins I am aligning, this will be my first line, this is my second support vector, first support vector, this is the margin line. Okay, now what critically data is aligned, this is the second mechanism, second method. Now what if the critical data align? Ata just see over here in this diagram how the points are correlated. Please check carefully. If I draw a line over here in this fashion in the linearly separable, is it possible to separate these two classes? Definitely not. Why? Because if you look the pattern of the data available, it is in the circular fashion. Hence in order to do a separation between these two classes, we are not relying. Hello, am I audible right now? Hello, yes, आवाज आ रही है मेरा भी? Hello,
Yes, yes.
okay, okay, sure,
हाँ सर ये तो
okay, okay. So if you look carefully in this diagram, this is nothing but a data sets are linearly separable. Definitely not, it's circularly separable. So if I want to classify the two objects where the data sets are circularly aligned, I can't go with the linearly separable mechanism like a support vector machine. Hence here we have to go with the another mechanism which is nothing but R B F, radial basis function, where these two classes are separated with respect to a separate mechanism of functionality. For example, this will be my first class, this will be my second class. So first class will be looking like a Gaussian curve. If you look for Gaussian curve, will look like this fashion. So all these first green color points will be mapped over here. Green color points will be mapped over here, and all red color points will be mapped over here. So this will be my Radley basis function. So this is another an alternative approach advanced to SVM if you have the data pattern in the circular fashion. Okay. Now this will be not solved by the linear separable machine, hence we are going with the another method, so that we will discuss in the next session. Right now focus on the SVM. So till this part, have you understood the support vector machine? What is role of support vector machine? Okay, now we will go with the our today's practical session, which is nothing but based on the support vector machine. So right now the SVM that we are using, that we are applying, is on the iris dataset. So iris dataset is nothing but, iris is a flower type, and which has been giving me an idea about that. If I want to use the iris dataset, into that we have the three class in the iris flower, and those three class we are going to differentiate or classify using the four set of parameters. So four features and three classes. This is a standard database, standard model which is required to differentiate the classify the iris flower dataset. Okay, so we are using that iris flower dataset to use in our main mechanism. Okay, now second, we will go with the our main implementation stuff. Are you able to see the screen of Spider? Okay, so this is the screen of where the code is going to implement. If you look carefully into the screen, we are importing the three different libraries. First is the NumPy, second is the PyPlot, and then from sklearn import the SVM, the support vector machine that we want to implement, and we are going to implement it in the a predefined or default datasets available with the sklearn. Sklearn is the machine learning library which is available for the exclusively for Python language. Okay, now just import these lines. Yes, we have implemented it, we have imported it. Now just run these three lines. After that, running these three lines, I want to implement these 3 second lines. Okay, so here iris is equal to dataset dot load iris. So what this line suggests, out of the available data sets, we are using the iris flower data set and in the iris as a variable. Now from that available data set, we are going to now slicing, or we are going to bifurcate it into the two different parts. One is the x and y. X is the data features and y is the type of the class. Okay, so x, if I give an x as an input, based on that it will classify the available data and it will predict the particular output from the target. So x is my input, y is the target. Now from the first line iris dot data colon comma colon to 2, so from the first to second, so here out of available 4 features, we are only taking the first 2 features from the first to second. Hence only first 2 features we are going to implement over here. So if I execute these lines, it will give me an idea about the available particular variables. Okay, so on right side if you see here, these are the available variable. So first we have created a data set in the name of iris. So if I double click on here iris, you can check here, this is the data set of iris. Are you able to see this data set line, iris dictionary? Here different options are visible: a data, feature names, target and target names. Are you able to see this? Please reply. Does these values are visible to you?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm
Yes, sir.
going inside these values. So we have data is nothing but a set of features that is equal to x, and y is nothing but the output. Okay, now if I click on data, see here a four set of different features. If you go with the numpy or python array, indexing start with the 0. So 0, 1, 2 and 3 total available features are equal to 4 features. Okay, so first set of feature, second set of feature, third set of feature, fourth set of feature and so on. So such a different features are available with us, and we are using this to have a set of features. Feature names. Okay, so which features we are using? First index is nothing but sepal length, second index is nothing but sepal width, petal length and petal width. So if I expand this data set again, here 0 is sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width. So these are four set of features. Okay, out of these four we are just looking for two set of features. Okay, now I am closing this. We have just seen the iris data set. Now I am expanding the x is nothing but out of the all available set of features, just we have extracted the only two first parameters, that is nothing but x. So if I double click on x, now just take a look over here, 0th index and first index, second and third we are not considered. Okay, so this is nothing but a two set of features available. Now why is the target? So we are interested to know about the target. So what is target? So now here if you look carefully, first some values are shown as a 0, next some values are shown as a 1. So what it indicates? Next value is the 2. So if you look carefully, what it indicates, y is nothing but it is having the only three values, 0, 1 and 2. So may I know what it indicates? I'm expecting the answer from your side. In y 0, 1 and 2 our values are shown. Anyone? Manisha is saying that these are the classes. Yes, correct, these are the classes, but why they are repeating it as a 0, 1 or 2? What it indicates? 0, 1 or 2, what it indicates? 0 stands for the first class from that flower, 1 stands for a second class of that flower, and 3 stands for third class of that flower. Okay, so if you go to the main system, there are three different classes that we want to classify from the iris data set, iris flower. Hence 0, 1, 2 we can't give directly names to our program. Program is understanding only the data values, digital values. We are not expecting here to give the names to the output. One stands for one class of object, two stands for next class of object. We are not expecting to give a name, hence y is having the naming between 0, 1 and 2. Okay, perfect. Now next, here once you go with these three lines, now we are switching to next level here to set the parameters of SVM. Now if you go to the parameterization of SVM, already we have discussed about the different parts. Now a type of the kernel, which is nothing but a setting of the gamma. Okay, based on what gamma your kernel is going to apply over here. So here kernel we are setting is equal to linear, then parameter value C is the regularization and gamma is equal to auto. So if you go carefully with these 2 or 3 values, gamma and regularization, how to use that? Gamma value generally varies between 0.1 to 10. Okay, gamma value if you want to set, right now we are keeping it in the auto mode, but if you want to do a trial and error point of basis, you can change the gamma value between 0.1 to 10. Please keep in mind, write down this value gamma. Gamma is changing between 0.1 to 10. Okay, and C is the regularization value, and C is changing between 0.1 to 1000. Okay, so C we can vary between 0.1 to 1000, gamma 0.1 to 10. So according to these two values, just map the particular function over here, and now once you have aligned it to support vector machine, SVM is equal to SVM dot SVC linear kernel gamma auto C is equal to 1, and now we are asking him to train the model. How we are expecting to train the model? Here SVM dot the parameters dot fit stands for train the model, and in that training model we are giving him a two inputs. One is the X, second is the Y. So X stands for available features and Y stands for the available outputs. Okay, so according to these three parameters we are expecting to train the model. So once the model is trained, now we are plotting the data parameters. So X mean X max, Y mean Y max. So X key lowest value, Y key lowest value, X key max value, Y key lowest value, Y key maximum value. So that we are going to plot over here. Okay, so plotting has been done, and now how to check the plotting? Just 1 minute. Are you able to see the Google Jupyter notebook? Are you able to see the Jupyter notebook, students?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So now we are right now here. We have executed this task. We have imported the data set. Then we have loaded the a particular X and Y iris data set. Okay. Then we have added the training part. So training has been done right now. Now once training has been done, I'm expecting to plot the data. Okay, so once the data has been plotted, here, hello, now just check the a separation between these three different classes. Okay, now this is separation between the three different classes. plt dot contour. Contour is nothing but a point where we can have the different features, available features. So we are plotting it over here, and once the plot has been done, we are going to the next level, which is nothing but a proper SVM classifier. So if you look over here, out of the available 4 features, sepal length, sepal width, petal width, we have expected to have a 2 set of features, sepal length and sepal width. Now along with these 2 different features, if you look carefully, a linearly separated 3 different classes you can look over here. Okay, so if you look carefully, still there is a scope to improve. Okay, why there is a scope to improve? Just check over here why there is scope to improve. If I draw a line over here, this is a first class, but if you compare over here, there is a still a mixture of 3 or 4 different available features. Okay, so these 2 different features are available, so there is scope to improve again. So how to improve? You may change the tuning parameters. Okay, so how to change the tuning parameters? You can go again in the first line. Here you can change the C and you can change the gamma. Okay, by changing those 2 parameters, you can have again more precise classification between this iris data set to have the flower classification. Okay, so this was the an example. This is an example to have a 2 different separation between 2 different classes with respect to your support vector machine. Okay, now from the available set of features, how to go for the multi-class verification? How to go for multi-class verification? That will be another part. Okay, so this is the only part that we were supposed to discuss in today's session. So hereby I am ending this session from my side. That is almost you have understood what do you mean by SVM, what do you mean by support vector machine, how to classify the different classes using the available set of features. Okay, so if you have any queries or doubts, please let me know. Just tap over here in the if you have any doubt or if you have any query, please let me know.
हॅलो
Hello.
सर ते एक्झाम बद्दल काय झाले ती बरोबर आहे का?
कोणती रे न्यूज एक्झामच्या बाबतीमध्ये?
हा ती एसपीपीयू ची आली आहे की एमसीक्यूज मध्ये एक्झाम वगैरे काय होणार आहे ती?
अजून तर